Good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, artist to artist conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson, where we bring you unique sounds, unique artists, and great music. Tonight, I'm really excited about tonight because our guest is someone that have been very, very kind to me as I moved to New York and developed myself as a young musician and got on the New York scene. He was always there. I call him my big brother. He's a amazing drummer, educator, composer, arranger, and producer. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Buddy Williams to the show. Hey, Buddy.
Dion, thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for Dion. I'm not supposed to praise Dion, but I'm gonna say it. He's a great man. I'm glad to see him doing good things and his family. God bless you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, man. Thank you for being you and being there for me as a big brother, musically, and just all the wonderful things you have shared with me. I'm so grateful and thankful for knowing you and just learning a lot from you. But I'm really thankful that you agreed to be on my show because I really want our audience to get an insight on who Buddy Williams, is and all the great things you have been doing. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Yeah. So originally, you're originally from New York City.
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, Kings County Hospital. Bed-Stuy, as Spike Lee would say. Bed-Stuy, do or die. Still there.
Hmm. And you came up in a musical family and
Oh
just been
man.
playing music your whole
I
life, right?
I had no choice. My dad sang with a old singing group, very popular singing group in the 30s and 40s called the Charioteers, and he sang all types of music, but they were jazz and gospel. The Charioteers was way before the Mills Brothers and all those other guys. The Mills Brothers, the Charioteers were the Temptations to the Mills Brothers and those guys. So old
Mm,
guys like Bing Crosby, Sammy Davis Jr. and his parents would open for them. The Apollo with
mm,
the what 8 shows a day. My dad and them did those. They were the first brothers on TV. They were on CBS Records with that red label with the gold microphone. I'm just bringing people back to that idiom of records, 78s and
mhm.
stuff. And he was a great arranger. He played the piano. I had no choice in the thing. If your father's a carpenter, you become a contractor carpenter, like my grandson and my son here, or. So I saw music. I like. Oh, here you go, and then I'll stop. A to G on the piano. When I was did the alphabets in school, when the lady said H after G, I said, "There's no H on the piano." She said, "No, here's a new." So I learned that was my teeth and ring, and I was around a lot of great musicians. And Uncle Ubi Blake lived down the street from me. That was my uncle, and he that guy, his piano, his fingers look um like the octopus or long tentacles. He could
Mhm.
play. When I started taking piano lessons, the way I could go outside and play with my boys, like those movies you see, was I had to go to his house in the afternoon, and his hands would be like this, and I would do the C scale, and he would play the little stride thing around my hands. Do, 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 do. You know what I mean? Two octaves, and
Yeah.
he say, okay, and go keep going up. And then he tell my grandmother, okay, he did his piano lesson, and he's outside with his boys. But that's the kind of musical thing I had. I had no choice in the matter. And
Mm,
look, it's come full circle. I was just before we came on, I was tapping out something on a toy piano for my granddaughter to do Wade in the Water, and I hadn't done that in many moons. I hear my parents going, "See, told you to play that." But I wanted to play drums so bad that I mean, now look, I play drums in church on Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm there, and everybody's like, "You play in church? You play the piano? How come? Yeah, I didn't want to play the piano because I knew that my parents were going to make me play in church. But look at God. God made me play piano. 8 o'clock on Sunday, I'm there, bro. Every Sunday, no complaints. But I mean, it's just funny how life comes back around to bite you and
Mhm.
remind you about all the great blessings and things that we get as we go through this life together.
And speaking about church, ever since I've known you, you've done the George Benson, Manhattan Transfer, Bette Midler, the Color Purple. I mean, all these great gigs, and you would call me and say, "Hey, D, do this." But you, I got to make church. I got to make church. I mean,
Yes,
you rarely
yes.
miss church. That was
No,
and
no, no,
still
no.
is your gig.
Still there, still there. When I
Yeah.
fly home, I try to make the flight so I can make it get to church on time. Luckily, my church is across the street, across the road from LaGuardia. Every once in a while, I try to slide in there. Sometimes it doesn't work when the airline mess you up, but sometimes I
Yeah.
try to slide in there just to make the service to help them out. Because I mean, it's not that it's a big church or a little church. My pastor's always laughing at me. So what are you doing here? I said, come on, I come with the church. You don't want me
Mhm.
here, I'll go home. He said, no, no, you're not going nowhere. So I just try to help, man. I'm just trying to help them get their church on and get my church on. And, so it pays off. But I got to say, by working with Roberta Flack all those years, church was in. We played at St. John the Divine. Dizzy was there, Roberta and Donnie doing those things was always a church thing, a
Mhm.
religious vibe. So it was not weird to me to play in church. So, you know, thank God for the blessings. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, just from a historical standpoint, so many musicians came up in the church before they decided to be professional musicians. I know a lot of
Exactly.
the cats I came to New York with. It was like, oh man, I got started in church. I mean, I had no choice. I was playing in church, So,
Yep.
but
Yep.
that makes a lot of sense. But your musical education was, you attended Arch High School, and then you went
Yeah.
to the university and did
High
all of
School of
that. But
Music and Art. I went to
yeah.
Manhattan School of Music. I wasn't a great student. I was always running to try to play the gigs. But I got to say this, like my dear friends like you, the Earl McIntyre, Rashid Ali, brother, Rashid Ali and Earl McIntyre. They taught me great music, all of the great music and the rehearsals and the musicians. My brother Manny would help me with the geom. Him and Skip would help me with the geometry and the heavy libido because I was trying to play gigs
Hmm.
and go to school because I mean I had to pay for my dad wasn't working, so I was like the guy trying to make the money, and
Hmm.
so I in a way you suffer from it, but I don't because I thank those folks. I can name them now. We got See, I'm gonna be a good boy and not say that word. Nat Adderley Jr. and us were all in a band together. Stop it, y'all. And we and Natural Essence was our group. Rashid Ali had started a group. Earl McIntyre, Yvonne Fletcher, God rest her soul. We were signed with Cannonball. Nat Adderley Jr. was our pianist, and we did great things and rehearsed and stuff, and had two great albums, and from that and grew. So industry wise, I've always been doing it like that, but school, Manhattan School of Music, Miss Twine,
Hmm.
Aziza, those sisters
Hmm.
helped me in school, translating chords and Neapolitan, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And they would
Neapolitan
say in my
skip.
ear, that ain't nothing but this, and I go, oh, okay. But
Yeah.
if I had to do it again, I'd do it again, man, because it was a great learning experience. It was just burning the candle on both ends. But when you're young, you think you can do all of those things. But everybody wonders why I fall asleep so fast because I'm doing too much and don't get no rest. But I'm thankful for it because I was on the job training, learning how to
Right.
to play with different folks and being at the Apollo and the drummer is not there. And Pete Long, oh wow, I haven't said that name in a long time. Pete Long was one of the guys at the Apollo who was like very instrumental in helping us. And the drummer wasn't there to play upstairs, and we used to rehearse in the basement of the Apollo. And I'd go upstairs and play and cover until the guy got there. It was a great experience because you
Hmm.
can't make it up. You're there. Go play this now. If you don't know it, you're gonna learn it now, right? So I'm glad
Yep.
for
Yep.
the experience. And God has a sense of humor. Says, "Oh, you want to
Yeah.
do that, huh? Be careful what you ask for." So, but here we
Yeah.
are.
And it worked out because you became a staple on the New York scene, not only um, a touring musician like some of the names you mentioned with Nat Adley Jr. and all of those other folks, but you also had a relationship with Marcus and the whole crew in Queens. But you became a staple in the studio because you ended up on so many recordings and jingles, and that's a whole nother scene in itself. How did that come about?
Well, these Bernie Drayton, that guy, man. Hey,
Hmm.
man, I need you to come play. Bill Eaton, hey, man, I need you to come play. When we started doing the GRP records, working with Roberta, the word gets around. Me and Marcus, we did stuff for GRP, yes. Um, a lot of different records we do, and then uh, okay, when we were on Roberta's gig, we got the Luther Vandross, our dear brother, God rest his soul. He wanted to do his own record, but we were still on Roberta Flack's gig, and he would
Hmm.
do it on his free time and his dime, So we would go in the studio and do that stuff, and people would hear us and see us and say, "Who's that? Who's this? Who's that?" So the word got around,
Right.
and I always got the last minute, "Hey man, where are you?" "I'm at such a, come down, please," because whoever it was late and couldn't make
Hmm.
it. And that's how it happens. You show up, shut up, and play the music. That was what the old guys would tell you. And you know what I
Hmm.
mean. Show up, shut up, play the music. So that was a good opportunity. And then other great things, but the writers, the listen, Zane Mark, Shelton Beckton, Joseph Joubert,
Hmm.
Bill Eaton, Onaje, Barry Eastman. That's my boy. These are my boys, but these are writers that know you can help them do what they need to do, and I appreciate them allowing me to participate in their projects because I wouldn't be able to do that. Bernie Drayton, brother. I mean, the commercials and the music that he's provided. Uh, wait, and the sister Debbie McDuffie. Whew.
Hmm.
All of them, those people, they were kind enough to allow me to participate in their music because they were doing it like they would turn it out factory like, and I don't mean factory, but they were doing it. So I was glad to be a part of that industry at the time and not just black stuff, you know, uh, Juicy Fruit, Dave Horowitz, a lot of companies, they had their things and it was great to play with them because I
Hmm.
didn't know it was just Registry would call me. Thank God for Registry. They've taken care of me all my life and Sweetie and stuff. So I'm good with that. But that's how. And the word gets out, and you just have to show
Hmm.
up and shut up and play the music.
For the
Try to be
music.
there on time and don't. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That sometimes folks blow that. So I know from
Yeah.
hard, from the hard side. But yeah, that's how it started. And then it just went like that. And then I never said no. I would always play different things. That's how I ended
Hmm.
up on a Michael Urbaniak or, Tanya. You say Tanya Maria. Oh my God, that was an
Oh
honor to
yeah.
play with Tanya Maria. She's Brazilian. I loved her, loved her. My family members. My aunt Walter Booker was married to a whole
Hmm.
Brazilian family, Maria, and that's how I met Ayrton in Florida and those
Yeah.
guys.
Go for the
Playing
crew and
around and listening to Ayrton one day and Roy McCurdy another day. Yeah, the guys have those great giants. We can name Max Roach, Roy. We were just talking about Roy Haynes, God rest his soul, those brothers. But man, to hear Ayrton play his drums, his approach to drums, and then to hear Roy McCurdy lock it in like that with Cannon, those were my industry people that still today I try to approach things in that manner, if I may. And I know they're gonna spank me for that, but No, it's the truth. Those guys say,
You know,
"Ah, you." You know how people make it translate? Like when you were teaching my son the drums, or getting him to see that he could play the drums, and you
mhm,
translated. People make you understand that you can and will, and make it calm the waters, and that, like, it's like swimming or anything else. You give them the confidence. Those guys gave me the confidence. So
mhm,
you're an educator. I mean, great teacher. Because I mean, I've seen some of them little guys, and one of them are mine. But you made them lock in and get serious about it, and make be able to translate music into their body, and participate best they could. But that's what happened to me, man. I was just around, and I was glad to be there. And yeah, Dave Grusin, now that guy, that's a great writer.
mhm.
Same thing, but he would tell you, "Hey, man, play this like this. Here you go." It wasn't a really hard written part, but you
Yeah,
have a good squad. It's like football, basketball. You have a good squad, and you work together, and that's why those records sound so family oriented. Funkin' for Jamaica,
right.
man, just came together because we were grooving. There was no schematic. The Nard playing that part and on a Prophet playing the bass part, and the Fender Rhodes part, and the acoustic piano, and Bobby Broom and Marcus playing.
Mhm, yeah.
It all just came together like that. The blessing of that
Mhm,
instrument, of us all playing together. That's just one of many.
mhm,
Never Too Much was the last song Luther recorded of all of his compositions. And that brother's,
right.
look at all that. Look at his library of songs that he wrote for himself and other people in arrangements. But Never Too Much was the last tune we did for his first project, and one take. And he said, "Hell, I got one more." And we went to media, and they set up in a little booth on a thing, and
Mhm,
Mark did the famous bass line.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah,
That's We just came together and did it. Yeah, Nat Adderley wrote out a little part, but
yeah,
bro, so when you have the right ingredients, it's like gumbo or anything else. When you have the right ingredients and the right cats
right.
together, you can do that. That's why it's so easy to play with those guys, because they're all, even Barry Eastman, when he wrote Nothing Can Ever it was still Anthony, myself, Phil Hamilton, and Barry, and Rochelle Farrell sang on the top, between uh, Will Downing and Rochelle Farrell singing the thing, and you hear how it goes. You just stay in your lane.
Stay in your
You know what I
lane and
mean?
just make it
And
groove.
it'll come together. That's
Yeah.
how they pull it off to one, two, three uh, versions, or passes.
Mhm.
But
But the thing that I admire, that got me before I even met you, because we met in St. Thomas originally. The first time we met, you was doing
oh
that
yes,
concert, and I was
yes,
peeping
yes,
on the side of the stage, and
yes.
you looked at me, was like,
Y'all, he
"You
looked like
come here."
Kilroy. He looked like Kilroy. He was right there, and his eyes was locked in, and he would not. I just looked at him. Wow, he likes this. But thank you, man, because that was great to be in the Virgin
But
Islands and
but
play
I,
like
I
that.
I grew up. There was a music store in St. Thomas that I couldn't afford any records. So I used to go in there. This guy, the guy, he just used to play recordings for me and like a couple other cats. But I was like on my way home from school, I would stop in there and he would just play me the latest stuff. And I remember when Tanya Maria stuff came out with you, I was like, "Who's the drummer?" It's like Buddy Williams, and I was like, "Buddy Williams." But he's on this record, and then he's on this. Then the Manhattan Transfer stuff came out, and I was just so fascinated at that time as a teenager. I was like 14, 15 years old, like just hearing the variety of stuff that you was doing. And that was like one of the first inspirations that I got. I was like, man, I want to be able to do that. Because
Yeah,
some cats like this is all I want to do. But I
yeah,
just
I hear
heard
you.
your versatility. And it always fascinated me. And so when I finally met you, I was like, man, I really want to. I remember asking you for drum lessons. And he was like, man,
You you didn't need no
I was
drum
like,
lessons.
drum
All I could do
lessons,
is put you
me.
come. Here's a lesson. Come sub for me at the Color
That's what you,
Purple
that's
and
what
write
you
this book
said.
out for me. That's just what he did, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want me to tell on him, but he helped me do my book. He itemized, he did everything. I wrote my part, but Dion script transcribed and made sure everything was okay. And then Miss Twine okayed it. The people, the powers that be okayed it. So whatever you hear me that I played and The Color Purple, even the movie, thank you. Uh, Dion is the one that wrote it out and made it happen like that. And he's going to tell on me. I'll say it for him. When he came to play the next week and say, "Here's your book," I said, "No, you're going to need that because I'm getting ready to go on the road and you're going to need to do it just like that." And this brother did his homework. But he's a genius anyway, but he don't want to hear that. But he wrote everything out and everything came up. Now, Broadway is like that. You have to write out your book, or the book is supposed to be written out, and you have to have 5 subs ready to go. My boss didn't want to hear about no 5 subs. She said, "Who you sending me?" Dion's going to be here. She said, "Okay, fine. I'll see you when you get back." Otherwise, there was some other cats, but she would give them a shot. But Dion really took care of us, and I'm very thankful for that. And I know it's a shameless plug for him, but ladies and gentlemen, Dion Parson.
I appreciate it, but
Okay,
man,
no
but
more, no more, no more. I know.
thank you. That was me getting a drum lesson after I would say harassing Buddy for years and wouldn't get a
No,
drum lesson. He's like, "You want a lesson? Come to Color Purple and do this." And it
yes.
actually worked out because it got me into arena that I didn't know about, but it got me closer to you, and I got to learn from you the great things that you was doing that still help me to today. I just did a gig last week, and we did two David Sandberg covers. We did Run for Cover and Straight to the Heart, and
Ooh.
I went and did my buddy homework.
Yeah, I just did that. We did a memorial for Sanborn, and Marcus called me to come play, and I was like, okay. He said, "Oh, you weren't coming?" I said, "Well, I was gonna stay home and watch it on TV like everybody else." He yelled at me and said, "What do you mean watch it on TV? It's not gonna be on TV." Look what happened when we went to NJ Pack the day before to do the Sarah Vaughan jazz vocal thing. The BGO people were saying, "Oh, they're streaming your show tomorrow, and it's gonna be on." I didn't know they were streaming it. But Straight to the Heart and Run for Cover, I was there when he wrote those songs. Straight to the Heart is not a simple song. It's like slow giant steps, if you know what I mean. A lot of
Hmm.
changes and then it goes back and forth with the reggae Caribbean thing as well as
Hmm.
the R&B ballad thing. But we played it so many nights, and David Sanborn, what a sound, what a spirit, what a great opportunity to play that every night, And Marcus wrote all them tunes for this brother, you know what I mean? So I was there when he wrote them, so it was easier to do because he had to teach everybody their parts last week, Monday. It was Monday, yeah, last week Monday, and it came out great. But he had to teach everybody the parts because, yeah, they could read, but there's a vibe you got to do. You know what I mean?
Right,
He's a good
right, yeah.
conductor and a great spirit, so I was glad to participate but I did get out of there because I had a 7 a.m. flight to get to the family the next day
Yeah,
to see my grands, and I had promised to do that. So I'm glad I
yeah.
was able to do both, if you know what I mean.
That's great. That's great. And again, Buddy's always on the move running. But before we got some music that I would like to play. But before we do that, I
Oh,
cannot let this opportunity go by without talking about the great accolades that you just got. I know you've been awarded a number of stuff and been honored for your
oh,
contribution to the music scene, but you just was presented a great award by the New York City Musicians Collective. Um,
oh, thank you.
you know, tell us a little about that, that experience.
Um, they've been doing this a while. I wasn't like up on them or familiar with them, but great brother by the name of Damon Mendez is one of the guys, and I'd heard like I saw what was his name? Gerald from the Manhattans and different folks. And what's my man Mark Whitfield? He got a thing. So I was very excited when they got a thing. But when he called me and said, "Listen, man, I need you to come. We're gonna honor you and give you," I was like, "Me? Yeah." He said, "No, no, 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 no. You got to come. We got something for you." So I played on a lot of people's stuff. I played on Grammy stuff. I played on Oscar stuff. Listen, Emmys. The Color Purple got one, and Bette Midler got one. We helped that, but I didn't get. I don't receive a thing like that. That's just my job to make it sound the best you can. So yeah, I get
Hmm.
paid, but to make you take a pride in winning a Grammy and a thing for somebody by you know that you played the whatever it was for them to get what they got. But for these folks to give me something to me for me, I was really touched, and my family came, and it was very nice. It was very nice, and they really got me with they got Miss Twine to come to present to me. It's hard to get Miss
Nice.
Twine in the room. She's busy, but it was good to see her, and my daughter, my son came, and it was really nice. I had one niece that came from Seattle. They and Jeff Sigmund, my man, he plays guitar with us when we used to play, like I told you about those bands we'd play together at the
Hmm.
cellar or whatever. He came up, so it was very nice. It was just very nice. But I've never got anything like that, man. So I was really honored because I didn't, me, I'm so used to not getting anything, man. So it was very nice. And I didn't take it for
Well,
granted. I thanked them enough.
yeah, you got that award. But I want to ask you a question. You've done a number of television shows, a number of television shows. Rumor has it that you were the first drummer in SNL.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you were the first
When they
drummer in
came to
Saturday
do
Night Live.
that,
Yeah.
Howard Johnson and Bob Cranshaw were the guys, that were trying to get the cats in there. And those are some good brothers. And
Uncle Bob. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. God rest their souls. Them guys are the reason why. And then once they started doing it, I did leave in the beginning to go do Bette Midler in the early '70s because I,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm somebody's parent, and you know what the man said. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. But between Bob Cranshaw, Howard Johnson, uh, Tom Malone, those guys, they said, no, 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 Budson, when you come back, your gig, you be here. A lot of people don't
Okay.
do that. Those guys were working. All those guys that was in that band were working already, and different shows and different thing. And I was kind of young at it, so, but I was able to go do the first Bette Midler tour. Then I went and did the second one, the bicentennial tour, and we did the first HBO special. But when I came back, I got to do my gig. And when I did come back from that, that's when the GRP thing started happening because
Mm.
Angie Bofield called me and said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to do my record, and Dave Grusin and these guys have signed me." And I spoke with Dave Grusin, and I was still in LA with Bet, and he was like, "What are you doing there?" "I'm here in New York. Come on back." So that was a great opportunity. When I got back, I got my Saturday Night Live gig back. So that's when that, like you said, when did that happen? I just came home, and I was blessed with the opportunity to do that stuff. SNL, bro, there for quite some time, you know what I mean, with different great
Mm.
things. And like I said, Tom Malone, yeah, Schaefer, and those guys were there, and but Leon Pendarvis, who is still there, what a
He's
great
still
brother.
there.
Those
Yeah.
guys just said,
Yeah.
go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. You just come
Yeah.
on. We got you. That's why they encouraged me to write a tune. We all got to write songs and arrangements, and the guys helped me with it there. And my song "Keep My Eye on You" was like played at the longest commercial at midnight. You know what I mean? Because that was the
Hmm.
longest run. At midnight you had to do that. And
Right.
what a great gig to play with. I mean, I've played with so many. When you see my thing about who'd you play with, is because of that
Yeah.
show. I never played with Linda Ronstadt before, but I played with what's the lady? Let's Get Physical. She passed away. Olivia Newton-John.
Hmm.
Um, the guy from Robert Plant, and we did the Honey Drippers. We did a bunch of. And when Beth came on the show, she scolded everybody because she said, "This guy got on the road with me, and he's worrying about you guys." Well, I don't want to say the words that she used, but the loving words she said were, "See, I'm being a good boy. I didn't say it." But listen, I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I
Yeah.
did. I was able to do, like you said, Saturday Night Live in the beginning, and everybody said, "How could you leave that show?" They were a once a week situation. They were growing. The first show I
Mhm.
did was George Carlin, and then I split. But then when I came back, I was able to slip right back in there, and we did it for quite some time. And when they said, "Hey, man, we need a bass player," I said, "I got a guy. I got a guy. His name is Marcus. Marcus, get Marcus." Marcus still had his
Mhm.
braces. You know what I mean? Me, him, and Schaefer, George Wardenius, and another brother by the name of David Sanborn and
Mhm.
Malone. And then Marini came back from being gone because a lot of those guys had to split to go do the Blues Brothers movie, but
Right.
eventually everybody came back and they kept us, and that was our back to our big band, original size band, and Spinoza and all us. Wrecker was there. We played Skunk Funk. We listen, just great music, and
Mhm.
the musicianship and everybody in the camaraderie. It was wonderful to do. I couldn't book that in a lifetime. Who knew that that was going to occur like that?
Yeah, that's great, man. A lot of great stories, and I'm enjoying this. And as close as you and I are, we've never really talked about all the things you've done and all the accolades you've done. And I've heard a lot of your story from other cats.
Mm,
Like while I'm in the pit on the Broadway show, and they'd be like, "Oh, Buddy did this, and Buddy did that. Make sure you come, because these are the shoes you're filling." So I heard a lot of your reputation from the cats that was there mentoring me on your behalf. But I'm happy that you're sharing this with the audience.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So before we can keep going on, but before we start running out of time, you shared some great music with us, and I want to jump into some of that because it now our audience can get a chance to hear the great work you've been talking. You talk about the Sanborn and the SNL stuff, and we have some recorders that presents you in that situation. So the first song we have is "Straight to the Heart,"
Oh, thank
David
you.
Sanborn. Yeah, from the original recording. So let's check that out, and we'll talk about it after.
Great.
That was straight to the
Woo!
heart, buddy. Yes. So
Woo!
who's on that performance?
That so you saw Hiram Bullock,
Yeah.
you saw Tom Barney on bass, Larry Willis, brother. What a great cat, man. Larry Willis, what a one. God bless him. Look at that. All those guys are gone, man. Me and Barney, the last that's left of that, you know what I mean? But
Mm,
what a wonderful. That was at the Montreux Jazz Festival.
okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
beautiful, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Great memories.
Yeah, that's a great arrangement. Now, I've heard that same song done with other bands with Sanborn, and it's not as detailed as the way you guys do it.
Yeah, well, that was the home catch right there. We
Yeah.
played that song long before them other folks bands that the bread and butter guys
Mhm.
like that. We would. This was the band that played it when after Marcus had to go and do whatever his thing is. We were playing that stuff, a lot. So it was like second nature.
Mhm.
That's why he said, like I said, when it came time to do the memorial last week. Say, hey man, come play this song. You know this song better than anybody else. Those were two songs he didn't have to worry about teaching somebody. And I'm talking about the chords and the embellishments and the voicings
Right.
of the chords because his stuff is so. Whether it was Ricky Peterson or Herbie, he said, "Come in and play that. Let me see that chord," and he'd play it
Mhm.
like that. And he uses all 10 fingers, and does like that, and it does that. So a lot of folks don't do that, So
Yeah,
you
and
know what
and
I
you know
mean. You
Larry
know what I
knows
mean.
Larry knows all that stuff because
Yes, he
he
does.
played with all
Yes, he
those
does with
other
everybody.
stuff outside of jazz. A lot of cats just know him as a
Everybody.
jazz musician, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He
he's
played great
he's a New
stuff,
York cat
man.
also.
Yes, he
Larry, right?
is. Yes, he went
Yeah,
to music
yeah,
and art. He went to Manhattan
yeah.
School of Music. Him and Hugh Masekela went to Manhattan School of Music together.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
that was a group thing right there. They had a great relationship of playing different types of music,
the different
Raisin
types
in
of
the Grass and all of that.
yeah.
Stuff like that. But
And they
yeah,
they had a lifelong relationship because I remember
yes,
being on the
yes,
road with Steve
yes,
Teray
yes.
and Larry meeting us coming off the road with Hugh to join us on
Yes,
tour and stuff. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
great
yes.
man,
Thank you.
buddy
Thank you
man.
for
That
that.
was a great live recording of that. We have another song that you shared with us. Another David Simon presentation. This one features Marcus. This is a tune he wrote. Run for cover. Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When I went, okay.
Run for cover.
Woo!
Where was that
Boy,
shoot taken at?
brother man, brother man. All right, I know long-winded. I'll give you a short version. They called that soundstage at that time period SIR Soundstage 52nd Street. They've since torn that building down, but I'm gonna tell you that joint used to be called the Cheetah. That was a
Mhm.
sound. That was a theater. That was a stage. That was the Cheetah. The Cheetah is a famous club theater. You know, they R&B actors. I saw the Commodores. Well, the Commodores of the real Commodores. Um,
Mhm.
Cool and the Gang, and who else was it? Mandrill. Those guys had Battle of the
Mandrill.
Band stuff there at that joint, and it was a dance
Mhm.
place, and they had live bands play, and that was the Cheetah to those of us who remember ethnic wise that place, you know, old enough to remember. But that was at the time was the SIR Studio Instrument Rentals soundstage on West 52nd Street. But they've since torn it down. It was a landmark building, but I guess the Holiday Inn or whatever the hotel is that's there now won the battle with the court and the money and all that.
Mhm.
But that was a great. We had just come from Japan. David wanted to do that. Marcus, that's one of his first, like, you know, I'm the producer, or you know what I mean. But it was
Mhm.
never like that. We went to do the gig, and then he did the mix and the thing, and played it for us about, you know, a month or two later. But what a great time! Don Grelnick on the keyboards, of
Mhm.
course, Hiram Bullock, um, Marcus, myself, and on that whole thing was also Hamish Stewart sang when we did "Love and Happiness" from the Average
Right.
White Band. You know,
Mhm.
that's a whole video, straight to the heart. You know, video, the whole thing of those gigs that we did, and
Right.
so that's in the whole entire show. But thank you for doing that, man. It still sounds good today, brother. It still sounds good today.
Great stuff. Great stuff, man. Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing it with us, man.
my
We're
brother,
gonna
my brother.
continue. You shared another song called "Rolling On" from
Oh,
that's
wow.
what's that about?
Wow, y'all got it. That's Roberta Flack. God bless her.
Mhm.
You know, Roberta took care of all of us, bro. She did a movie soundtrack. We all did the movie soundtrack for Richard Pryor movie called Bustin' Loose.
Mhm.
And so all of us wrote tunes. I
Okay.
ended up being one of the producers of stuff and getting the band and the horns into this and all that and segue music, you know, music for the thing. Rolling On was traveling music, as was the man said, a little traveling music, please, but it was for the bus going and taking these kids, orphan kids that Cicely Tyson
Right.
was the teacher and the
Mhm.
counselor, and she wanted these black kids to these third world kids because it was Hispanic and Asian, but they wanted them to see the country and you know farm and all that stuff, and she took them on an excursion that the powers that be didn't know, and this was a great movie. Richard did more nice movies like this than the usual, you know, you kind of pigeonhole him with. But we
Right.
got to
Right. Yeah.
write great music. So "Rolling On" was one of the tunes that drove them through all of the scenery. I got the film. I was trying to get the film to you, but I didn't know we could play it or not. But it didn't show up here until today. Amazon, sorry. But
Yeah.
"Rolling
I
On" was
remember seeing the movie. Yeah. It's a great
yeah,
movie.
great,
Yeah.
great. If you can see the movie, folks, you'll see what I mean. But I got two tunes in there, "Rolling On" and "Song for D," and we D meaning Donny Hathaway and
Mhm.
Peebo Bryson, and it was a very loving song and thing. But "Rolling On" is everybody rolling through the thing, and me and Marcus and Barry Miles, George Wadenius again. Harold Vick playing tenor saxophone. Earl McIntyre did the horn arrangements. I mean, you know what I mean? It was the
Yeah.
family. It was the family. But
Yeah.
thank you for
The whole
playing it,
crew.
bro. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's check it out. Rolling
Thank
On.
you so much.
Moving
Wow.
rolling on by Buddy Williams and Bustin' Loose. I remember the bus trip. Richard Pryor was the
That's
bus driver.
That's
Yeah,
he was the bus driver, and the
yeah.
kids. And then the kids. It makes more sense when you see the movie because the kids are making all kind of noise, and
All
there
the
was a
noise. Yeah,
blind kid that wanted to
right.
drive the bus, and but it was a
Yeah,
great opportunity. That was my first chance at doing something for a film. Marcus and those guys, they do films all the time now, man. I've done like three, but what a great opportunity. Thank
that's
Roberta,
great.
Roberta Flack.
Yep.
She made it possible for us to do things like that.
Man, thanks for sharing that, man. Well,
Thank
we got
you.
one more
Thank you.
song, and this is another song that you wrote. And this is from the SNL days.
Oh,
And
oh,
this is "Gotta
keep my
Keep
eye on
My
you.
Eye on You." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, some Big
that's
Brother
one of your
stuff.
songs, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean,
Let's
it
check.
means got to keep my eye on you. That's some Big Brother stuff. You know what I mean? They say, all right, I got to keep my eye on you. So we
Yeah,
grew up doing that.
yeah.
But yeah, great, great song, man. Thank you.
Let's check it out.
Thank you.
That's gotta
Wow.
keep my eye on you,
Wow,
Buddy Williams.
wow, wow. I haven't heard that in a long time, man. I got to thank
Yeah,
Tom Malone. Tom Malone was our musical director and producer for that record. So that was the Saturday Night Live band. He got it to us, and I hope I didn't get anybody in trouble with the copyright thing and all that. I mean, it's mine, but you know how the internet is. You know, Big
yeah,
brother. What I tell you about keep my eye on you? That's what I meant about, you know. And now we've
your
got
brother's
AI
watching
and
you.
everything. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? The AI thing roll up on you. But thank you, brother. That was Lou Marini's saxophone solo. Ronnie Cuber, God rest his soul. He was the baritone sax solo. The synthesizer part was solo was Leon Pendarvis, and Tom Malone helped me do the arrangement thing with the horn hits and the stuff and making it
mm,
sound so cohesive like that, you know. And but he made it possible. Everybody said, "Butson, where's that song you had?" And I had it, you know, in a small group thing, and Tom was able to help me do that. But thank you guys, thank you very much.
yeah. Well, you shared it with us, man. So we thank you for bringing that to us. I'd have never known that. So
I
that's
know, right?
Buddy Williams. Gotta keep my eye on you.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out
So
there like that, man, where they give you the
mhm,
opportunity to write. So you know, I try to do,
yeah,
you know, pitch in. You know, I'm glad for the
yeah.
opportunity, the
A
blessing
great
if you
song,
want to
great
know.
arrangement. Everything that you shared with us, man, and the stories. Our time has come to an end, buddy. But
Oh, I know.
just before we leave, um, I just want to thank you again for taking the time out of your family schedule and your busy schedule to join us. And any last words for our listening audience?
Listen, folks, thank you so much for supporting live music and the arts. You know, no man is an island. We all must share and love each other and try to. Music soothes the savage beaches and all those things they say, but there's something to it. So try to, you know,
Mm.
help and support live music and keep cats like Dion in business there. I know,
I
no
appreciate
praisings to
you.
you, brother. I know. He's a great man though, y'all. He writes great music. He has a great band. He look at that. Look, he's given us this opportunity and platform to hear some music that we otherwise wouldn't hear on our everyday dials. So I appreciate brothers like this and support you wholeheartedly. And thank you for having me on your show, man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, buddy, man. Thank you, man, and appreciate everything. We'll be in touch. Hopefully, you can
Thank
join
you.
us again and bring some more music to Sounds of the Diaspora.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for the
All the
sound of the
best,
dice.
Buddy
All
Williams.
the best, family. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir. That's the great Buddy Williams joining us tonight on Sounds of the Diaspora. And we thank him for all the wonderful stories, insight on all the things he's been doing and sharing his music with us. So we thank him. Join us next week as we bring to the Sound of the Diaspora another dear friend, another great drummer, master drummer, someone that I've known for many years in New York City. From California, he's played with a lot of folks. You'll hear his story next week. Come back and join us as we bring Mr. Willie Williams to the third to the Sounds of Diaspora, Sounds of the Diaspora next week. Thank you very much and take care. See you later.